Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by to check out my video. My name is Lena Kears from Inspired Creations. I'm a Canadian independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I want to show you this card, which is actually a double opening card. It opens here, and it's a peekaboo card. So a double opening peekaboo card is what I'm calling it. I found this card on Pinterest. Don't really know who made the original one, but I thought it was quite interesting, so I wanted to try it myself, and then I thought I'd share it with my customers and whoever else is interested in seeing this video. So let's get started. I used a Good Man stamp set. I'm thinking this would be a wonderful card for Father's Day, but it's a great guy's birthday, or you could change the picture and make it a feminine card. Lots of things you could do with it. I also, since this man is sitting at the beach, added some of the shells from Friends Are Like Seashells. Now, my card today is going to be a little bit different from this one, so we'll see what changes I come up with as we go along. I will have all the measurements at the bottom of the video where it says show more, but basically this part here, the opening part, is 5 inches by 7.5, and it's scored at 3 3/4. So that's the little top card. Then that is layered on a suede piece that is 5 1/4 by 4, and that is onto this regular card size, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So these are all going to layer on top of each other. Now, inside this one, the second opening one, we're going to have just a 5 1/4 by 4 vanilla layer. Okay, so the top and the inside here are both vanilla. Now this one I did not emboss, and I like it. I like it a lot, but it's a little bit plain. So I thought, well, let me try embossing the outside. So what I did, I just stuck it in my embossing folder. I decided which way I wanted to have the lines going, and since this is the sea, I thought this was kind of, I don't know, like a beach. So I just put it in so that the edge of this edge here is on the edge of the card, on the fold of the card. And then I ran it through like this. And this is the Bark 3D embossing folder. Then I realized that, oh, but now I can't stamp the label. So I cut out 2 labels because I'm not sure yet which one I want. Do I want this one or do I want this one? We'll decide that once we get a little farther along in the card. Okay, so we're going to start with the inside of this card. So put all these pieces away. Oh, I should mention that I'm using a bunch of the shells from the Friends Are Like Seashells. Now you can just either stamp the whole, stamp all the shells. And this is my, I use the Stamparatus if I'm doing all of the shells. Then I place them on here so that I know that they will line up with this. So I place this in my Stamparatus, place all the shells in place, bring down the lid, open it up, they're now sticking to the Stamparatus, and then I can stamp my cardstock. However, for this one, I didn't want this, I don't know, I had bits and pieces left, so I just stamped the pieces I need and emboss them just by sticking them inside the embossing folder here. So you can put this in place here, put a little piece of tape on it so it will stay put, and run it through. And you can do that with all the bits and pieces that you need. So you can either do the whole thing and this coordinate very well, or you can do the bits and pieces like I did. But I did them ahead so you wouldn't have to sit there and watch me do all that. So we'll put these to the side for now. And we're going to, first of all, stamp the person. So I'm going to stamp him in black memento. And I have him right here. I'm going to get ink on myself. Okay, now we need to know where the hole is if we want the man looking through. Actually, the sample I saw online had the hole higher like this and had the man sitting down here. And after that didn't work for me because I didn't have enough space down here to put the man without being partially seen. So I just made him the focal point, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm just going to lightly make a couple of lines to show where the hole is so that I get the main part of the stamp within that space. So something like this. Okay, now I can just erase those lines. And we'll be able to see him through the hole. I know this smudged a bit, but I'm going to be coloring his legs anyway. Okay. So we will now, where did I put the stamps at? Right here. We need to cover him up. We need to mask him so that we can do the sponging. So we don't want everything covered because he's sitting in a chair. So we want the sand between his legs and stuff to show. So that's why I'm covering him up like this. And we also don't want the sponging to go on this part. So I'm just using a removable, I'll show you what it is. I got it on Amazon. It's a self-adhesive removable laser ID label. And you get like a whole pack of 8.5 by 11 inch sheets. So they're very useful for lots of things. And then it will come off quite easily too. So it's like a Post-it note, but it's sticky all the way through. Okay, so now I'm going to want the sand to come like up to here because I made this hole higher, and then just have a little bit of sky. So we'll start with the sand. And I think I'll have a scrap paper underneath here. There we go. And sand has darks and lights, so you don't need to worry too much about making sure it is all very nicely blended. And with the blending brushes, you do have to keep layering it on. You can make the sand as dark as you like. I'm getting it in between the legs there too. There we go. I'm using ink from the edge of the stamp pad, so it's a little bit wetter there, I think. Okay, so while we have that out, we're just going to take the dots from Friends Are Like Seashells, and we're going to stamp the dots in the sand so that it looks a bit more like sand. And we just need a little, just randomly. You don't have to fill it all up. Just to give the illusion. Okay, that's good. Now, I stamped Relax Your Way on it, and I messed it up, so I had to put a little tag over it. So let's see what happens when I try it today. Relax Your Way. right there. Need some black for that. Okay, I think that's okay. Alrighty, so now sticking to that as well. Okay, now we're going to take the blue, Balmy Blue, and we'll stamp. It's either sky or it's water or whatever you want it to be. So again, you can make it as dark or as light as you like. You can have different shades of blue. So some can represent the water that he's sitting by and a little bit lighter for the sky. You can just use your own ideas. There we go. So now we're going to peel off the mask. And we just save that in the box. And now we're just going to quickly color. Okay, I've got light and dark Balmy Blue. Just make his hat match his pants. I'm not the world's best coloring person. Coloring's not my favorite thing at all, but it does really add to the way it looks. So, okay, give him a yellow shirt. I don't know if we need light or dark. Let's see how light this is. One thing I really like about our blends, they don't care if you color up and down or across. It ends up looking good anyway. It doesn't show the lines. This one's getting a little bit on the dry side. Okay, he definitely needs some skin tones too. So let's try the light petal pink. His chin, his neck. See, my mask wasn't exactly placed. Should have been more careful with that, I guess. Okay, and we're just going to put him in a green chair. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, now inside here we're going to add a few shells. So where did all my shells go? Oh, we can take this off too. So that did a good job. I can use this over and over again, so I'm just going to put the cover back on it, and I'll save that. Okay, so wanted a shell like that and a shell like that, just kind of random. And we'll just use a little bit of liquid glue here. So that adds to the illusion that he's sitting on the beach. Oops. Okay, so the inside is done. Now on the outside of this, we want to decorate it with a few shells. And again, I have the shells made, but to the front ones, I added some Wink-of-Stella just to draw a bit of attention to them. So there we go. Wink-of-Stella is one of my favorite products. It just adds a little pizzazz to things. Okay, and then we also want the seaweed. Now, I cut everything out of Crumb. I could have cut that out of vanilla, I guess, and it would have changed how the coloring looks on it, but this we're just going to use the light Mossy Meadow because it still looks quite dark. I could have used a lighter green, but then it almost looks like it's not very green because it's Crumb to start with. So there we go. It's pretty quick coloring when there's no detail to worry about. Okay, so we're just going to think where we have to place everything. This to kind of be there. I think we need to go a little bit higher. And it doesn't matter if this comes a little bit past because remember, this isn't the full card. So I've got a few shells here, and then the tag needs to be added. So either a white tag or a Crumb tag. I kind of think I like the Crumb better, so let's see if that's going to stamp okay. I'm going to do it more towards the right so that I can cut part of it off. Now, by the way, this label comes from the Tasteful label dies. Right here. So it's Tasteful label dies, and I just use this one right here. And I'll just cut this off where I don't need it. And then I can put it right on the edge like that. So, okay, we can start putting things together. Now we'll use dimensionals. Okay, I wanted to go right to the edge here. Now we're going to put dimensionals on this one, and then try not to. So this is going to tuck underneath here. So I won't get a dimensional right about there. I can put one right on the tip. That should work. Okay, there's that. Now for this, I'm just going to use some of the liquid glue again. And that's good because it's also on a bumpy surface with the embossing that I did. Okay, so I just don't want it to come underneath the shell that way. This looks pretty good. Oh, I didn't need glue here. Forgot about that. Okay, and then I think this one, I'm not going to put a dimensional on. I'm just going to use glue again. Okay, so that whole part's done. So we can now layer our card on the different layers. And I've been using a lot of the liquid glue lately because it really adheres so nicely, and it gives you wiggle room when you're placing things down, that you can still move them just a smidge if you need to. So this goes on the suede layer. Doesn't he show through the peekaboo hole quite nicely there? Then we'll use this again. Oh, don't want to do them upside down, do we? Okay, so this is really a card on top of a card. So here, there's not much space to write or anything, but in here, there will be lots of space to write. So here I did, being a good dad starts with being a good man. So that's kind of for Father's Day. I think that's a really good, it could be a birthday too, of course. Let me see. Okay. Kind of just putting that in the middle. I'll just like to clean it off right away. My chamois, which is right beside me here. Okay, then we're going to glue this again. And then we'll put it right here with an equal blue edge on all four sides. And then I have a couple of shells left over. And these are not going to be glittered or anything fancy. I did emboss these. I can't really decide whether this shell wants to be this way or it wants to be this way. So let's try this way this time. And you can add more shells if you want, or if you don't want any shells at all, or if you want to just stamp some shells. You can do whatever you like. Okay. And it gives you lots of room still to write something around there, if you like. So there's the double opening peekaboo card. I hope you like it. It was fun making it. And here's all my information. I'm a Canadian demonstrator, so if you are from Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator already, I would love to be your demonstrator. So this is my Facebook page. I post on that almost daily. This is my store, and this is my host code for June. That's it for today. Bye-bye.